and Jerry Schemmel on 850 KOA, Denver.
Game 1 of 2 with the Florida Marlins this afternoon. Greg Smith against Ricky Nolasco in the opener. We'll have the starting lineups and get it underway for you right after this on the Rockies Radio Network.
The Colorado Rockies on 850 KOA.
News Radio 850 KOA, time saver traffic. I-25 southbound, just a little.
Best. Cameron Maben will lead it off for Freddie Gonzalez in center field for the Marlins. Gabby Sanchez is at first base. All-star and last year's National League batting champion Hanley Ramirez is at shortstop. The red-hot Jorge Cantu will play third base in the first game. Dan Ugla is at second. Ronnie Polino will be the catcher, batting sixth. Cody Ross is in right field. Brett Carroll in left field, and right-hander Ricky Nolasco the mound for the Marlins. For the Rockies, Carlos Gonzalez will lead off, play in center field in the first game. Seth Smith is in left. Todd Helton bats third at first base. Troy Tulowitzki, the Rockies shortstop, hits cleanup, followed by Brad Hopp in right and Chris Iannetta behind the plate. Ian Stewart will play at third and bat seventh. Clint Barmas is the second baseman, and left-hander Greg Smith gets the call in Game 1 for the Rockies.
Let's check today's pitching matchup, brought to you by Scottish Home Improvements. Find out more at ScottishHomeImprovements.com. And by the way, Jack said a tribute here before we get going to Kelly McGregor, the late Rockies president. Not only a tribute, but I think a very fitting tribute. About 4 minutes long, and I was watching the photos. They flashed up on the big screen. Equally as many photos from Kelly McGregor with his family as with on the job. So I thought that quite appropriate. Well done by the Rockies folks who put that together. Pitching matchup today as a right-hander for the visitors and the left-hander for the Rockies. Ricky Nolasco, as Jack said, the right-hander for Florida, gets his start today, and he's pitched very well so far. 1-0 his record, 3.74 ERA. He's making his fourth start, so a couple of those he did not get decisions in. 4 start today against the Rockies. Last outing at Philadelphia Saturday, very good game. 5-hitter he threw in a complete game win. That was perhaps his best performance in a while, so he'll get the start today. Against Colorado, he's 3-0 in his career, so pitched very well against this opponent today as well. 2.45 ERA over the years. Against the Rockies, 22 innings pitched. He struck out 25. Opposed by the Rockies left-hander Greg Smith. Greg is 1-1 this year. ERA is 4.67. Sunday at Atlanta, he last pitched, and he pitched very well. Probably should have gotten that win that day. 5 1/3, allowed 2 runs, 5 hits, a career high, though, 7 walks. Despite those 7 walks, he was in line to win that ball game. Rockies certainly had a chance to do that. They couldn't get it done. This will be today his first career start against Florida. Of course, he pitched in the American League 2 years ago, and Greg coming back after missing last year, looking to rebound this year. He was very consistent for the A's 2 years ago, but he is getting back in form now. Didn't pitch well his first game. Second game he did, and here he is with the third start for the season. So the right-hander Ricky Nolasco for Florida, and for the Rockies, Greg Smith, the left-hander. We got better weather, obviously, than yesterday. Today, sunshiny skies. Still a little bit cool out here in Denver and at Coors Field. Yet we've got pretty good weather for baseball, considering all those weather circumstances.
Our umpires this afternoon, Rob Drake is behind the plate calling the balls and strikes. Corey Blazer will be at first base for the first game. Angel Hernandez at second, and Paul Schreiber at third. 350 down the right field line, 347 down the left side here at this beautiful ballpark. 390 the power alley in left field, 375 to the bullpens in right, 415 to straightaway center here at Coors Field. Dimensions of this great ballpark brought to you by Shaker's Vodka. Shaker's asked you to celebrate America. Cameron Maben will lead it off for Florida, a youngster who was considered one of the key elements in a big trade with the Marlins and the Tigers 2 seasons ago. Right-handed batter, ready to dig in against Greg Smith. The lefty winds and fires. First pitch of the game's on the outside corner for a called strike 1. Maben hitting at .284, a home run and 4 RBIs, 19 hits to begin the season. This is a very good offensive club, the Marlins. Maben puts a bunt down. Smith coming off the mound, charges, throws to first, not in time. A good bunt that died in the grass halfway between home plate and the mound, and Greg Smith made as good an effort as he could, but Maben too fast.
Yep, that's a lot of speed, that top of the order with Cameron Maben, and that's his second bunt single of the season. That was a beauty. Ian Stewart was up on the grass and was even creeping in as that pitch was thrown. Still couldn't get there in time.
So a Florida team that has scored 82 runs in its first 16 games gets the leadoff man on for another young player, first baseman Gabby Sanchez, and he looks at strike 1 from Greg Smith. Sanchez hitting at .280. 14 hits on the year, a home run, 7 RBIs. Throw to first to keep Maben close. Maben has stolen 3 bases in as many tries. The Marlins are 8 out of 10 in stolen bases. Sanchez in a pretty good crouch in that right-hand batter's box. Smith staring over at the runner will throw to first. And, of course, we've chronicled it before. Terrific pickoff move for Greg Smith. 16 men he picked off in the 2008 season with Oakland. A lot of breeze here this afternoon. The 0-1 pitch fouled out of play off to the right. 54 degrees when we got the game underway, but with that wind, and I look at the flags up atop the scoreboard, they're whipping around pretty well. And we'll see if we can get an official wind velocity, but I'm sure it's in double digits. 2 strikes to count on Sanchez. Maben with the bunt single on at first, and Smith will throw over that way. Rockies are going to need to win this game to try and keep pace with those high-flying Padres. At the Chevy Sports Desk, the Pods win again, 8 in a row. They blanked the Reds in Cincinnati 5-0. Here just underway in the first game, the pitch to Sanchez, a little looping liner. Tulowitzki will play it on one bounce, throw back to first. No, and now Sanchez ran into Maben, and he's off the bag. Todd Helton will go over and tag him. And now we're trying to decide what. Now, well, either way, he's out because he's off the bag. And Maben ran into Sanchez trying to get back to first. It was a little looping ball toward short. Tulo tried to short hop it, but it appeared that the second base umpire, Angel Hernandez, said he caught it on the fly. Even if he didn't catch it on the fly, they were able to get the runner, and then they threw to first and apparently got Sanchez as well. However it works out, Freddie Gonzalez went out for a conversation. Freddie's satisfied. The Rockies get a double play.
They get a double play the hard way. It looked like Tulowitzki, I think, was going to catch that ball in the air, Jack, and decided he was going to play it on a hop and a better chance for a double play that way. I think it was just a great heads-up play by him, and then they got the man leaning off of first base. Helton just ran him down.
Well, he was 20 feet off of the base. First pitch swinging as Hanley Ramirez lines it to center field, right into the glove of Carlos Gonzalez to retire the side. We'll figure all that double play out for you in the bottom of the first. No score. inning in the first game of the doubleheader. No score here at Coors Field. The Rockies turning a double play. It was officially ruled as caught in the air by Troy Tulowitzki, and then the second out retired because he threw it to Clint Barmas. It went 6-4-3 on the putout of the runner, Maben. Leading off for the Rockies against right-hander Ricky Nolasco is Carlos Gonzalez, and he'll take a pitch high and outside for ball one. Carlos hitting at .353 to start the game today. He'll take a strike, and that's a 1-ball, 1-strike count now on Carlos. Third baseman Cantu at the cut of the grass. Sanchez at first, even with the bag. 1-1 pitch is cued right to the third baseman, Cantu, who reached up and grabbed it. Soft line drive off the end of the bat. That's out number one. Did get a report on the wind, and they say anywhere from 20 to 30 miles an hour this afternoon in parts of the metro Denver area, and it's whipping pretty good here at the ballpark in the bottom of the first. No score. Here's Seth Smith at the plate, and he'll look at a pitch high and outside, ball one. Todd Helton will follow with pretty good shift. Big gap in right center field for Seth Smith. Pitch caught the outside corner. 1-ball, 1-strike. Ricky Nolasco, part of a pretty good trade for the Florida Marlins several seasons ago. 1-1 pitch to the left-hand hitting Smith is sliced foul off to the left. 1-2. Nolasco, Sergio Mitre, who is no longer with the Marlins but had some good years with them, and lefty reliever Reniel Pinto came from the Cubs organization for Juan Pierre. And Juan's been with several other teams since that trade. The 1-2 to Smith, breaking ball, strike three called. Good curveball by Nolasco. He catches Seth Smith looking. That's out number two here in the first inning.
That's a long bender, a slow curve, 74 miles an hour after a 90-mile-an-hour fastball. So good off-speed delivery there, and it caught Smith by surprise.
Todd Helton, the hitter now. Todd brings the batting average at an even 300 to the plate, 15 hits and 3 runs batted in. Todd will look at a pitch that misses away for ball one. Nolasco has a pretty easy delivery, so at times his ball doesn't look like it has much velocity. He's around 90-91 with the fastball. Next delivery's over the plate but low, 2-0. Todd, part of the heart of the order, brought to you by Aurora Denver Cardiology Associates, the heart specialists of Colorado. Looking for the heart of the order to gang up on these Marlins. Todd taking all the way. Helton looks at a fastball on the outer half for a strike. 2 balls and a strike. Nolasco out of Southern California. Turns the big leg kick and fires, and Todd fouls it to the screen on another fastball. Best velocity yet at 91. Our e-mentor this afternoon, our e-mentor for game one, Amy Goodner of Longmont Estates Elementary School in Longmont. If Brad Hopp hits a home run today, Longmont Estates Elementary School will be eligible for the drawing for tickets to a game in September as part of the IBM Home Runs for Youth program. 2-2 pitch fouled again to the screen. They originally said a 20-minute gap between game one and game two. It may be extended a little longer than that, but we'll be staying with you throughout that time. This the old-fashioned Ernie Banks Let's Play 2 traditional doubleheader. The 2-2 to Helton. Hit over the head of Ramirez, the shortstop, into left center field for a base hit. Todd Helton gets the Rockies' first hit of the afternoon. It'll keep things going. Get the cleanup hitter, Troy Tulowitzki, to the dish.
Yeah, folks, don't ever stop appreciating the great hitting talent of Todd Helton. That was a great piece of hitting right there. And that he took an off-speed pitch on the outside corner, got the foot down first, kept the weight back, and just hit it where it was pitched. He lined it, not hard, but softly, got a base hit the other way. What a hitter.
Tulowitzki hitting at .277. Troy with a homer and 8 runs batted in. Nolasco works from the stretch for the first time, and Troy lines it into center field for a base hit. Helton will hold at second. Tulo had a good road trip, lashed out at the first pitch from Nolasco, and the Rockies have a 2-out threat going.
Yeah, Jackie had mentioned a good road trip for Tulowitzki. Got off to somewhat of a slow start. We're accustomed to that with Troy, but usually it's taken him a little longer to break out of his beginning of the season slump. He's hitting the ball very well the last week and a half.
Rockies will send one of their best hitters in this first month, Brad Hopp, to the plate. Left-handed swinger at .375, 3 homers, 7 runs batted in. 2 on, 2 out, no score, bottom of the first. Initial pitch is outside to Hopp for ball 1. Brad went 8 for 19 on the trip. And on the season in clutch hitting situations, 3 for 7. He's got that man in scoring position. Helton out there at second base. Tulowitzki at first. The 1-0 from Nolasco is topped towards the first base side. It'll roll along the warning track in front of the Rockies dugout. 1 ball, 1 strike. The Dodgers and Washington are in extra innings. The Dodgers scored in the top of the 13th, leading 4-3 now. The game just went final, and the Dodgers win it in 13, 4-3 over Washington. Here, no score. The Rockies with a 2-out threat. 1-1 pitch to Hopp is way outside. Paulino had to come out of his crouch to glove it. 2 balls and a strike.
Brad still nursing that sore quad. It's on his right leg. That's that front leg. And he's going to play this first game. And Jim Tracy made it clear to everybody before we started today that Brad probably, well, he made it clear he would not play the second game. So this will be it for Brad.
You have a lefty pitcher in the second game. Probably see just about everybody wearing a Rockies uniform in action today. 2-1 pitch just at the knees on the outside edge. A called strike 2. 2 balls and 2 strikes. You know, Brad, with the count in his favor, wasn't going to chase that pitch, but that was the ultimate pitcher's pitch there. Still a big gap in right center field, and they're pitching Hopp away. Be tough to hit it in that area. The 2-2, he was just able to get an off-speed pitch off the edge of the bat and foul it on a curveball. Count stays at 2-2.
Well, that's what you want to do when you got those 2 strikes. You're trying to just stay alive, trying to ward a pitch you don't like off a little bit, foul it, and just look for something a little bit better, something you can drive here with 2 outs.
Rockies have not beaten Ricky Nolasco. He's 3-0 in matchups against Colorado. Inside target finally, the 2-2, but he missed it badly outside. 3-2. Paulino late in the move towards the plate by Nolasco slid into the inside edge to try and jam Hopp, but Nolasco didn't finish his motion on the pitch, left it way outside. Now with the full count, Helton and Tulowitzki will be off and running. Hanley Ramirez and Danny Ugla, they're almost outfielders. They're on the grass at short and second. Now they move forward a little bit. The 3-2. Swing and a foul at the plate. Curveball again, and Hopp was just able to get a piece of it. Talking with Jim Tracy a little bit, he said even though they've got some hard-throwing guys on this team, Rockies fortunately don't see Josh Johnson this weekend, but they are guys, Nolasco especially, that in hard counts where you would expect to see a hard pitch, a fastball or a hard slider, he'll go soft. He's done that a couple of times here. Another 3-2. Pulled foul. And Brad Hopp extends the at-bat against Nolasco. You'll see lefty Nate Robertson against Aaron Cook in the second game. Second year in a row the Rockies and the Marlins are playing a doubleheader here in Denver. Sometimes it doesn't seem to matter. Whenever the Marlins come into town, the weather's a factor. They bring it from Florida, I think. The 3-2. Swing and a miss. He got him with a breaking ball, and that retires the side. We'll go to the second. No score. Here in Denver, let's pause 10 seconds. Station identification here on the Rockies Radio Network.
Know about the traffic before you're stuck in it. Traffic and weather together every 10 minutes on 850 KOA.
850KOA.com.
Second inning. Here's Jerry Schemmel.
All right, Jack, thank you. First hitter is Jorge Cantu for the Florida Marlins. Looks at strike one from Greg Smith. And here's one of the great stories in this early year in Major League Baseball. This guy at the plate, a 20-game hitting streak going back to last season. Next pitch way outside, hit the screen. In fact, Ionetta came out of that crouch, couldn't even get it. 1 ball and 1 strike. So the first 16 games of this year, Cantu has hit safely in. We go back 4 from last year. Go back to October, you got 20 total. And that's the highest streak going on right now in Major League Baseball. He's hitting .297, 4 home runs, 18 driven in. Next pitch off speed, missed outside, 2 balls and a strike.
Set a Major League Baseball record with a hit and a run batted in the first 10 games of the season.
He is making some headlines. Here's the next pitch, foul, right back to screen. Took a good rip at that one, and the count evens up at 2 balls and 2 strikes. On the road trip that the Marlins are on, this is a long one for him. He's 7 for 25, so not a whole bunch of hits, but he spread them out enough to get at least one in every game. Marlins, by the way, 9-7. On the road, they're 5-4. Here's the windup by Greg Smith and the pitch, and that one's lifted to the infield. Clint Barmas moves underneath it. Now Helton calls him off and is going to be made by Barmas. Helton, I think, called for it. Barmas said, no, I'll take it. And there's the first out of the inning. So Greg Smith has the first out. The left-hander, born in Alexandria, Louisiana. He's age 26 now. 1-1 for the year. Sunday at Atlanta, pitched well, but gave up 7 walks, a career high. 5 1/3 that day. Only 2 runs and 5 hits. and coming off the win the previous start. He'll go to work here against Dan Ugla, the second baseman for the Marlins, and he takes a first pitch inside for a ball. Ugla for the year, .333. Got a lot of power. 3 home runs so far this year, 10 driven in. Back to Greg Smith. He pitched game 1 of that Mets series back on April 13th. Here's a pitch to Ugla. Missed low and away, 2-0. And in the process, won for the first time in 19 months. 11-3 Rockies win that day. 7 innings pitched, struck out 8. 2 runs on 6 hits. Next pitch at the knees for a strike. Also helped himself with an RBI double. Also had an RBI with a fielder's choice. So a big night that night for Greg Smith, getting his first win in over a year and a half. Here's the next pitch. High for a ball as Ugla checked his swing. 3-1.
Well, trying to be more aggressive, as Jim Tracy suggested. Having a little bit of trouble with his changeup right now.
Here's the 3-1. And he checked his swing, took that for a strike. That's a breaking pitch and a good looking pitch there. 3 balls and 2 strikes.
Well, he finished it that time. Didn't kind of chop off the delivery. Got all the way through with a good finish.
Ronnie Polino, the catcher, waiting on deck. Wind up by Smith, then the pitch. A long fly ball to deep left. If it's fair, it's gone. Looking up is the left fielder, Gonzalez. It is gone. Home run into the seats in left center field, and that is home run number 4 for Ugla. 1-0 Florida.
You know, no surprise with this guy. He has hit a lot of home runs in a Florida uniform. He's already 4th on their all-time list. It says a lot about the fact that the Marlins ship their players in and out in a hurry, but Ugla sat on a fastball and whacked it.
Here is the catcher now, Ronnie Polino, and the first pitch at the knees for strike 1. Polino off to a .261 start, 1 home run. He's driven in 7. So Greg Smith back to work after the solo shot by Ugla, and the next pitch in the dirt for a ball. 1 ball and 1 strike. Polino from the Dominican Republic. Right-handed hitter, big strong guy. Smith has his sign. Here's the 1-1 pitch, and that one's grounded towards Stewart. Tough hop. He's got it, though. To his knees, stands up, throws, and throws his man out at first base. He's made some errors this year, but that was a dandy play by Ian Stewart, and 2 outs in the inning.
Ian has learned to master that ability to go down on one knee to handle a tough hop, and then he pops up after a spin to make the throw to first. That was pretty.
Here's the right fielder, Cody Ross, and he's sitting on the year .250. Ross has 1 home run, driven in 10. First pitch from Smith in the air for strike 1. Ross grew up not too far from this area, Carlsbad High School, Carlsbad, New Mexico. Not too far down Interstate 25. Next pitch is a fly to center. Plenty of room for Carlos Gonzalez. He drifts back a few steps now, makes the catch. That retires his side. Marlins, though, on the board. Solo home run by Ugla gives them a 1-0 lead. Bottom of the second coming up at Coors Field.
850 KOA. Your Rockies station, 850 KOA.
1-0. The Rockies are down here, bottom of the second inning at Coors Field. Chris Iannetta gets it going offensively for the Rockies in this second inning. Chris, a slow start to the year. Does have that walk-off home run that happened last Wednesday night. Hasn't had a hit since then. For the year, 148, 2 home runs and 2 RBIs. Here's Nolasco's first pitch, swing and a miss. Strike one to Chris Iannetta. Rockies fans purchase a green pack, help out the environment while enjoying a day at the ballpark. Next week, the 25th, 26th, and 27th. 2 tickets for $20, with $5 going toward planting trees for our 26 Games of Green initiative. Nolasco's wind up. The 0-1 pitch to Chris Iannetta. Swung on and missed again. You can go to ColoradoRockies.com to purchase that green pack anytime. Playing Iannetta straight away. They're going to play in a little bit with that wind blowing in. As Jack said, 20 to 30 miles an hour right now. Blowing our papers around up here in the broadcast booth. We know that. Here's the pitch to Iannetta. Took it outside for a ball. So with that wind blowing in, you get some help as an outfielder. You can play in. You can afford to play in several steps. And that's what both the Rockies and Marlins know and are doing. Ian Stewart waiting on deck for Colorado. 1-2 delivery. Checked his swing, and it is a called third strike. Iannetta thought that was high. Took a couple looks at the umpire. He says, nope, it's a strike, and that's the first out of the inning. Now to bring up Ian Stewart. He's hitting the ball very well. 327 for Ian Stewart. 4 home runs. He's driven in 10. On Thursday, that last game in Washington, 1 for 3. A solo home run there. Ian Miguel Olivo providing all the offense the Rockies had and needed that day with that shutout victory over the Nationals to finish off that series. Right-hander against left-hander. Pitch to Stewart is taken for strike one. Sat out the game before that Wednesday at Washington. First time he did not start a game this year. Stewart did finish the game, and finished he did. He struck out to end the game on a called third strike. Missed outside, did Nolasco on the next pitch. 1 ball and 1 strike. As Jack said, Nolasco from Southern California, Rialto, California. Rialto High School. 4th round pick of the Cubs in 2001. Here's his windup and the pitch, and a fly ball to shallow right field. Uggla's going out. He calls for it, shades with his hand with the sun, and he makes the catch. So 2 quiet outs to begin the second inning for the Rockies, and now Clint Marmas. As Jack said, the Marlins made a great trade with the Cubs back in 2005 to pick up this guy. I think arguably his best season a couple of years ago, 2008, went 15-8 with Florida. 3.52 ERA in 32 starts. And then last year, 13-9. So he's pieced together 2 years consecutive that have been pretty impressive. First pitch outside to Clint Marmas for ball 1. As the team record for most strikeouts in a game was 16. Broke A.J. Burnett's record a few years ago. Here's a fly ball down the right field line. It's in foul ground. Sanchez is there, and along the warning track, he will make the catch. A very quiet inning for the Rockies in the second. Top of the third coming up. Rockies are down 1-0. pitching at Coors Field. Game 1 of a doubleheader today against the Florida Marlins. Remind you, every home run the Rockies hit this year, the Berg Simpson Law Firm will make a donation to Craig Hospital. For information, go to Berg, that's B-U-R-G, Simpson.com, BergSimpson.com. Here's Brett Carroll, number 8 hitter for the Marlins, leading off in the third. He'll be fouled by Ricky Nolasco, and then the top of the order with Maben. Right-handed hitter is Carroll, takes the first pitch low for ball number 1. Florida coming off a win on Friday night, 5-1 in Houston. And for them, a final stop here in Denver on a 3-city, 9-game trip. There's a long fly ball to deep left field, going back. Gonzalez looking up. That one is gone. What a shot against the wind by Brett Carroll. That's his first home run this year. 2-0 Florida Marlins.
Well, one thing, Jerry, you'll get used to as you work in this ballpark, sometimes when the wind is in the direction it is today, it hits the grandstand and then whips around and actually ends up blowing out to parts of the ballpark. But that was well struck by Carroll anyway.
Yeah, no question. That was his second home run of the year. Both solo shots. Here's the pitcher now, Ricky Nolasco. So 3 hits for the Marlins. 2 of them have been long balls. Here's the pitch to Nolasco, and that gets in there for a strike. 1 ball and 1 strike. So Greg Smith stepping back off the rubber, taking that deep breath, trying to settle down here and trying to avoid that long ball again. Here's a swing and a ground ball to the hole, but Stewart's there. He fields, he fires over to first base, and Nolasco, just jogging down the line, is thrown out by a mile. There's the first out of the inning. That goes 5-4. Now top of the order for the Marlins, Cameron Maben. Bunt single for him, his first time up. He's in North Carolina. Remember when he was in high school, reading all about his exploits for baseball. Was a high school All-American for 2 years in a row by every publication you could find. Here's a pitch by Smith, and that one's chopped towards second base, charging Barmes. He's got time. He flips over to Helton for out number 2. Maben got a slow start out of the box on that one. Pretty easy play on a big hop for Barmes. And now here's Gabby Sanchez. Grounded into a very crazy double play in that. I guess he didn't ground into it. He flied into it. Double play back in the first inning. The looping line drive that Tulowitzki caught through to first base. The play went 6-4-3 on the double play. And here he is hitting for the second time. Here's a pitch by Smith. Checked his swing. It's appealed, and the umpire says he went around. 2-0 Marlins. 2 runs on 3 hits. Rockies have a couple of hits, but nothing to show for it so far. Wind up by Smith. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. That's a changeup and a dandy that time from Greg Smith. 0-2. Hanley Ramirez waiting on deck for the Florida Marlins. Marlins took 2 of 3 in the series against both the Mets and the Dodgers, and then came back to the same thing against Philadelphia. Here's a pitch, high and away for a ball, 1-2. They split 4 games with Cincinnati. That puts that record at 9-7. On the road, 5-4. So they're feeling pretty good about themselves after an 87-win season a year ago. The 1-2 delivery swung on and line foul down the right field side. 84-77 the year before for the Marlins. So a team that you always think just has players come and go, just like a traffic stop in Florida. They have been good many years. In the last 2, they've been respectable. They made a move last year late in the season. That one bounced up there and hit the hitter, Sanchez. I think it got him on one bounce on his left ankle. So he's aboard with a hit by pitch. So here's Hanley Ramirez hitting for the second time. Flied out to center field his first time up. That last curveball by Smith at 82 miles an hour. Hit speed brought to you by Fast Cash Gold Center. Visit any of the 12 Metro Denver Fast Cash locations where you always get 40% more for your gold. So Ramirez hitting with 2 outs and 1 on. Here's the pitch to him. He checked his swing and took it for a ball. Talk about a hitter. This guy can get it done. He won the batting title a year ago. Hit last year .342, 24 home runs, drove in 106. So far this year, .302, 1 homer, 6 driven in. Checked his swing, took a nice looking pitch for a strike on the outside. He took a glance at the home plate umpire after that one, Rob Drake. Questioned that call. 1 ball, 1 strike. Smith to look over at first. Short lead over there. Here's the pitch to Hanley Ramirez, and that one's low for a ball. Mentioned the 24 home runs last year. This guy leads all Major League shortstops in home runs since the 2006 year. 104 in that stretch. Tulowitzki's got his share, but this guy's got more. 2-1. Here's the pitch. Swung on and flied to short right field. Running out there, Barmas, he can't get it. Falls in front of Brad Hobb. On to third base goes Sanchez. They throw behind the runner. Helton has no play there. So a soft fly ball to right field falls in front of 2 players, and the Marlins have first and third and 2 outs.
Wasn't much Brad Hobb could do. You're playing deep, respecting the power of Hanley Ramirez. Clint Barmas went racing out, but he couldn't get to it. Brad did a good job of corralling the ball quickly, and Sanchez had made the turn around third but had to scamper back.
So here's Jorge Cantu. He's 0 for 1. First and third and 2 outs for the Rockies. Ramirez has good speed at first base. Smith, though, has that great pickoff move at first. He'll keep a lot of runners closer than they normally would be. Here's the pitch. It's fouled out of play off to the right side. The offense for the Marlins has played well. 265 as a team coming in. They've scored 82 runs, which is good for number 5 in the National League. And I think Jack pointed out earlier, they're good with runners in scoring position. 320 as a team. And Cantu has that right here. 0-1. Here's the pitch. Low for a ball. Off speed at 76 miles an hour. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Greg Smith knows he's not going to overpower these Marlins. At best, his fastball's been 84, 85 in the game. He's got to hit his spots.
1 ball, 1 strike to the dangerous Jorge Cantu. Here's the pitch to him. And it missed away for another ball. 2 balls and 1 strike.
You know, that had the most velocity. That was at 86. Hoping to throw one right at the edge of the zone and maybe have Cantu react to a fastball, but it was too low.
2-1. Short lead for Ramirez at first. The pitch lined into center field. That's going to fall for a base hit and will score a run. 3-0 Marlins, and so far Greg Smith is not fooling a lot of hitters for the Florida Marlins. Well, there's a hitting streak to 21 games now for Jorge Cantu. A solid single to center field. And the Marlins have it going offensively early in the game.
Well, tough situation, the blue pit and the hit by a pitch. I mean, this was an inning that could have been over. He was ahead in the count to the rookie Sanchez, just trying to throw a back foot slider. He bounced it to the plate and hit him. Then after the blue pit, the solid shot by Cantu because he was pitching from behind in the count.
Ramirez had to stop at second base, so first and second and 2 outs, and Dan Uggla, the hitter. Solo home run for him back in the second with 1 out. Smith threw a fastball right down the middle to Uggla last time. Here's the pitch. Low and in for ball 1. So Dan Uggla with his 124th career home run. He's in possession of 4th place on the Marlins all-time home run list. He passed Gary Sheffield 2 nights ago when he had a home run. Next pitch to him is in there for a strike. That one off speed, 85 miles an hour. 1 ball and 1 strike. Marlins a couple of solo home runs. Now an RBI single by Jorge Cantu. 3-0 they lead. That game recap brought to you by Lowe's. Let's build something together. Here's the pitch by Greg Smith. Low and in again. Stopped nicely by Iannetta. And the count 2-1 to Dan Uggla. Talked about Ramirez leading all those shortstops in home runs. This guy leads among second basemen. Since 2006, leads all Major League second basemen. 125 home runs now, counting today. He really taps that front foot. Big right-handed hitter. Here's the pitch. Checked his swing. Nope, it's taken for a strike. Did check his swing. The umpire says it's a strike anyway. Now let's see if Greg Smith can take care of things here to get out of the inning. Slightly open stance for Ugla. Already tapping that front foot, that front toe before the pitch even coming in. Now here it comes. And he swings, and it's a long one again to left center field. But this one's playable. Seth Smith moves toward the warning track, and he makes a catch. That one looked like it did get hung up in the wind. Two more scored by the Marlins, though. Bottom of the third, it is 3-0 Florida.
Storage.com and store with the pros. The Colorado Rockies on 850 KOA.
We move the home half of the third inning with the Rockies down 3-0 to the visitors, the Florida Marlins. 9-1-2 for Colorado. That means Greg Smith is first. Here's the first pitch to him. It's high for ball number one. That fly out by Ugla to center field. The last out was the Geico 15th out of the game. Did you know that 15 minutes can save you 15% or more on car insurance? Visit geico.com. In there for strike one. 1 ball, 1 strike to Greg Smith. Mentioned it earlier. Greg helped himself last time around when he was at home in a start. Drove in a run. A couple of runs, actually. 2 different at-bats. Here's a fly ball to left field. Retreating to Carroll. And he'll make the catch right there. He's playing way in on Smith in left field. But he's able to get to that one for the first out of the inning. Good game in Oakland going on right now. Top of the 8th inning. Indians on top, the Athletics 3-1 as we look at our Chevy Sports Desk. Yankees at the Angels today. Bottom of 6th, the Yankees have a 6-0 lead. Bottom of 7 in Chicago, White Sox and Mariners tied up at 2. Top of the order now, Carlos Gonzalez lined out the other way to the third baseman softly in the first inning, so he's 0 for 1. Here's the pitch. Off speed, it's in there for a strike. Carlos, a couple of games ago, so Wednesday in Washington, a 4-hit affair. Second time this year he's had 4 hits. The other time the opener in Milwaukee. And then came back with an 0 for 4 on Thursday and 0 for 1 today. Here's the pitch. Missed outside. Carlos checking in, though, at .346 for the year. Does have 1 home run that he had that solo shot with in Atlanta on Sunday. Driven in 7. Here's the windup by Nolasco, and the pitch, a ground ball chopper toward third. Tough hop there for Cantu. He's got it. Throws to first for the out. Let's pause right now, 10 seconds for station identification. You're listening to the Rockies Radio Network.
Colorado Rockies Baseball 2010.
With Jack Corrigan and Jerry Schimmel.
On News Radio 850 KOA, Denver, 850KOA.com.
Next up is Seth Smith for the Rockies. Struck out looking his first time up. Seth still trying to work himself into the right swing, as he says. Here's the pitch to him, and that breaking pitch is in there for strike one. Seth of the year, 182. Does have a couple of home runs. He's driven in 8. Didn't play in that last game at Washington of that series, that 4th game. And for the road trip, he was only 1 for 8. Here's the pitch. Takes it high for a ball. Jack had mentioned it earlier. They play Smith to hit late. The center fielder, Maben, is shaded over toward left. And Carroll playing very shallow in left field still. Here's a pitch. And there's a line drive, soft liner to right field. Ross coming on, can't get to it. It bounces in front of him. And there's the Rockies' 3rd hit of the afternoon. 2-out single by Smith. Wasn't pretty, but he got it done. And here comes Todd Helton.
Sounded like he broke his bat.
First 10,000, by the way, through the gates tomorrow. Receive a Rockies baseball cap courtesy of Wells Fargo. Purchase your tickets this game against these Marlins, any Rockies ticket outlet or online at ColoradoRockies.com. Here's Todd Helton. Todd singled his first time up. Went the other way to left field like he does so well. Smith off of first. Here's the pitch. And that curveball in there for a strike. It is game 1 of a doubleheader today at Coors Field. The second game about 30 minutes after the end of the first. Of course, we'll have them both for you. Lead by Smith is short. Throw over there anyway by Nolasco, and he's back in plenty of time. The Rockies on Monday start a 3-game set against Arizona. And finally, the Marlins get to go back home. 9-game road trip wraps up for them tomorrow. 0-1 to Todd Helton. Here's a pitch to Todd. And he swings and hits that one deep to left field. Going back, Carroll toward the warning track. On the run, makes a catch up against the wall. He was playing shallow, had to go a long way to get it, but that retires his side. Nothing doing for the Rockies in the 3rd. Top of the 4th. Marlins up 3-0.
Fourth inning in game 1 of this doubleheader. The Marlins with a 3-0 advantage against Greg Smith and the Rockies. Catcher Ronnie Paulino, a right-handed batter, will look at a breaking ball for strike 1 from the southpaw Greg Smith. 3 runs on 5 hits for Florida. 2 of those hits home runs by Ugla and Carroll. Little cue ball into foul ground. Todd Helton on the slide makes the catch on the warning track in foul ground. Nice hustle by Helton to retire Paulino for the first out.
Yeah, Todd saw that the stands were coming up pretty quickly there, so instead of trying to catch that ball on the run, which is not a terribly difficult play in that circumstance, you might run up against that stands wall. Instead, he like Jack said, got to the knee, slid, and made the catch.
One quick out for Greg Smith here in the fourth. Brings the right fielder Cody Ross to the plate, and he'll look at a ball that bounced into home plate for ball one. Rockies baseball brought to you in part by Mattress King. Find out why Mattress King says nobody beats the king. Nobody. Wind still blowing, not quite as hard at the moment as Ross fouls off the next delivery into the upper deck on the right side. Cody Ross has had some memorable games in this ballpark. A great comeback win by the Rockies when they were down 13-2 at one point. Ross hits it hard but foul down the left side, and the count goes to 1-2. They were down in part because Ross was hitting the ball everywhere. In that series that weekend, he had 15 RBIs on the weekend. Florida and the Rockies have played some interesting ball games. They came into the big leagues at the same time. The 1-2 is a sky ball to short left center field. Seth Smith gives way to Carlos Gonzalez. Cargo's got it. That's out number 2. These two clubs, their first seasons in 1993, they have played coming into today 144 games against each other. The Rockies have 72 wins. The Fish have 72 wins.
How about that? That's pretty interesting. I saw that stat last night, Jack. That is interesting.
Brett Carroll will look at a first pitch strike on a breaking ball. Carroll found a fastball to his liking and hit it into the seats in center field just to the left of the Fountains area. Pitch bounced to home plate. Count levels at 1-1. I think if you get the ball up today, the wind is going to knock it down. You hit it on a line where you can keep it below the grandstand. You've got a chance for the ball to carry. The 1-1, another good breaking ball. He took it. It's on the inside corner, 1-2. The home run by Ugla was a line drive down the left side. So you want to drive it, you just don't want to elevate it too much. Smith trying to work a 1-2-3 inning. The 1-2 to Carroll. Swing and a miss. He got him. Middle of 4. 3-0 Florida.
Tuesday mornings at 7:35 on the home of the Rockies. 850 KOA. The Colorado Rockies on 850 KOA.
Last of the fourth, Rockies down 3-0. Troy Tulowitzki, who has one of the 3 Rockies hits, faces Ricky Nolasco to start the frame, and he swings and misses for strike 1. Nolasco has allowed singles to Helton, Tulowitzki, and to Seth Smith, but they've all come with 2 outs and nobody on. He has done a good job of getting a couple of quick outs. Rallies are tough with 2 outs and nobody on. The 0-1 breaking ball missed this time. 1 ball and 1 strike on Troy.
Didn't miss by much. He's got that breaking ball working well. Comes at that right-handed hitter, and that time Tulowitzki had to bend out of the way, but still nearly caught the strike zone.
Tulo with that erect stance awaits the next offering from Nolasco and drives it down the left side, but it's hooking and it will drop foul, about 6 or 7 feet foul, and Troy caught it off the end of the bat and cracked it, so he needs a new one. Don't forget to send us your baseball questions. Thanks to our friends at Comcast, you could win a pair of tickets to a future home game with a good question. Send your questions to emailofthegame@comcast.net. If we read your email on the air, you are a winner. Tulo asking for a moment to get settled in the box after getting the new bat. Now he's ready. Paulino sets up an inside target. The pitch is fouled. A fastball in on the hands of Troy. Count remains at 1-2. The other National League action is going to start later on. They had 3 afternoon games besides this first game of the doubleheader. Dodgers, Mets, and Padres winners this afternoon. Pitch to Tulowitzki, low and outside, 2-2. Nolasco, one of those guys sometimes who can be wildly effective. I mean, there was a situation where they again wanted to go inside on Tulowitzki around his hands, and the pitch was outside and low. But if you're moving the ball around enough and keeping everybody off balance, including your catcher, you're probably doing okay. Low fastball hit to the right side. A dive by Ugla. He can't get it. It's into right field. Tulo has his second straight hit. Rockies get a leadoff man on for the first time this afternoon.
Well, there's an at-bat for Troy Tulowitzki that shows you how strong the guy is. He got fooled on that pitch. He just sort of waved at that thing. As Jack said, it was a low pitch, low and away, and just showing his strength, he's able to get contact with that ball and hit it hard enough to get it in the hole into right field.
Brad Hopp now. Brad, first time up, battled Nolasco, a 10-pitch at bat, but eventually struck out on a 3-2 delivery. Tulo leads away. Sanchez holding him on over at first. Nolasco comes to the plate, and Brad hits it hard, but Ed Ugla knocked it down a second time, through to first, and gets Hopp as Tulowitzki moves to second. And I think Brad's legs bothering him again.
No doubt. Yep, look at the body language there. In fact,
he tried to pick up speed going down the line, and I think there's an issue again.
Yeah, he's walking slow. You can almost detect a limp as he walks toward the dugout. We'll see what happens with Brad, but I think you're right, Jack. He tried to accelerate, and that's when maybe he felt that leg.
Ugla knocked it down, went to pick it up and knocked it down again. That took away the play at second, but with Hopp at less than full speed, he threw Brad out at first. Now Chris Iannetta, he looks at a slider low for ball 1. Chris, a strikeout victim his first time up. Nolasco has 3 strikeouts, has not walked a man. Given up 4 singles. Marlins have used a couple of homers to build a 3-0 lead here in the fourth with 1 out. Pitch to Iannetta, checks his swing, and the fastball's low, 2-0. Shadows starting to creep in from the left side of this gorgeous ballpark. Home plate and the playing field still in the sunshine, but shadows moving close to that third base line. Tulo leads away from second. Nolasco takes a peek at him. The 2-0 to Iannetta, low and away, 3-0.
There was a breaking pitch on 2-0 to Iannetta. Interesting pitch selection there.
First 3-0 count that Nolasco has had on the afternoon. He came into the game having walked 7 men in 21 innings, so he has displayed good control up to this point. The 3-0 delivery on the outside corner for a strike. 3-1. Rob Drake raising that right hand. With the wind, even though the sun is welcome, it is chilly at the ballpark. Game time temperature of 54, but with the strong breeze, the wind chill's probably down into the low to middle 40s. The Rockies flags in the ballpark are at half staff in tribute to Kelly McGregor. And they are whipping around with the other flags on display. 3-1 pitch. Strike 2 called. Right now, Chris Iannetta, he had that stretch last year doing a lot of check swings, and that means you're just not picking up the ball as quickly as you would like, or you're overthinking in that batter's box. So from 3-0 to 3-2 for Nolasco. He sets at the belt and fires. Swing and a miss, struck him out. Second time he gets Iannetta. Out number 2 with Tulowitzki still out there at second base. IBM eMentors work with students around the area to improve their math skills, and they've created math problems with a baseball theme to them on our website at RockiesRadioNetwork.com. Why not check it out, see how well you do, all part of the IBM Home Runs for Youth program. Rockies will need a 2-out hit from Ian Stewart. He popped out to the second baseman Ugla in his only at bat so far. Bottom of the 4th, 3-0 Florida. Pitch low by Nolasco for ball 1.
Interesting sequence of pitches by Nolasco there to Chris Iannetta. 3-0. Then it was 2-0. Came with a breaking pitch to go 3-0. Came back with 3 straight fastballs to get his man.
That's what I thought of, maybe overthinking, like Chris kept waiting for something else instead of just reacting to the pitch. 1-0. He is hit towards center field. That's going to drop for a hit. Maben picks it up on the bounce. He'll throw it to second. Tulowitzki will score. And the Rockies are on the scoreboard. RBI single for Ian Stewart. He leads the ball club in that category. His 11th of the year. And the Rockies deficit shrinks to 2.
Jack, you were here the whole season last year, but I can't imagine there were a whole lot of occasions where Ian Stewart was able to drive in a run and a runner at second base going the other way with a single. Not trying to overswing. He did not swing hard at that pitch at all. He went with it, took it into left center field, and got his RBI.
Says, I know what my swing is finally. Here's Clint Barmas. Clint swings and fouls it back. I know one of the things Don Baylor worked with Ian about was the whole aspect of get into a routine and stay in the routine. And at times last year with the new baby at home and everything else, Ian wasn't always as consistent with his pregame approach. Now that he has gotten to that, just what you're doing just a little bit better. Throw to first to get Stewart back to the bag.
I think that's not only important, Jack, for every major leaguer. I think it's vital. I think you have to get in that routine where you do the same thing every day on the road, do the same thing every day at home. Doesn't always work that way with family and other obligations, but you try your best to get into that swing.
3-1 Florida. Rockies with their first run. Clint Barmas trying to keep it going. There goes Stewart. The pitch is called a strike. The throw down to second, and they've got him by plenty. And that retires the side. We'll head to the 5th. 3-1 Florida. right fielder Brad Hopp still having some issues with that leg, and it became apparent as he tried to beat out that bobbled grounder. He has been removed from the game, and Ryan Spilborghs goes into the game in right field. Put Spilly in the number 5 spot in the order. 3-1 ball game in favor of the Marlins as we move to the top half of inning number 5. Ricky Nolasco, the pitcher, will take strike 1. Next delivery swung on and missed. No balls and 2 strikes. Smith working quickly. The 0-2 is a big bounder towards short. Tulo waits for the hop. Over to Todd Helton, and that's out number 1.
Have a chance, Jack. Run down those Broncos picks real quick. They're done with the draft now. Demarius, I think you call him. Thomas, the first-round pick. Second pick in the first round, Tim Tebow. Zane Beadles, an offensive tackle in round 2. J.D. Walton, the center from Baylor, in round 3. Eric Decker, also wide receiver from Minnesota, in round 3.
Pitch to Cameron Maben is in for a called strike.
Broncos didn't have a 4th-round pick in round 5. Parrish Cox, a corner from Oklahoma State, and a center, Eric Olson from Notre Dame, taken in the 6th round.
Bouncing ball past the pitcher. Tulowitzki, barehand pickup, throw to first. They got him. What a play to get the speedy Cameron Maben. Tulo raced in as the ball got by Greg Smith. He barehanded the ball and made a sidearm throw and just got Maben at first base.
Yeah, that's the only play he could make, Jack. He had to barehand that ball. It's the only chance he had against that speedy leadoff hitter, and he made the play all in one motion. Grabs it with the bare hand and throws, and that's a more difficult play than it looks like, and Tulo does it as well as anybody.
2 outs in the inning now, and it is Gabby Sanchez, who started the troubles last time up in the 3rd inning with 2 outs and nobody on. He was hit on the foot by a pitch with a 1-2 count. He eventually would score on a 2-out single by Jorge Cantu. First pitch here misses, and the second one's in the dirt as well. 2-0.
Finish out those Broncos picks. They had 2 in the 7th round. Sidquan Thompson, a corner from California, taken in round 7, and as well Jamie Curlew, a defensive end from Indiana.
2-0 the count on Sanchez. 2 outs, nobody on. 3-1 Florida. The next pitch is low. 3-0. Brad Hopp left the ball game with left quad tightness. So now he's got issues with both quads, the front of the thighs, and the pitch is outside to Sanchez for ball 4. And Sanchez aboard for the 2nd straight time. That's our injury report, brought to you by Longmont Clinic Orthopedics, where orthopedic surgeons specialize in the newest and most advanced techniques available to care for sports-related injuries. Inning stays alive for Hanley Ramirez, and Ramirez will look at a backdoor breaking ball for strike 1. He has lined to center, and then last time up blooped a ball into short right field. It dropped for a hit, and that set up the Cantu 2-out single to score Florida's 3rd run. The 0-1 is swung on a miss. Good changeup that time by Greg Smith. 0-2.
Well, when you're Greg Smith, you don't have that big fastball. You can pop it every once in a while in the low 90s, but you got to rely on location and changing speeds. That's on a great-looking changeup that Ramirez was looking for something else with and swung right over top of it.
He'd love to have a low 90s fastball.
Had one at one point, I guess I should say.
Before the arm injury, and he's working back up to it. He's more often than not going to be at 87, 88 miles an hour with the fastball.
Did hit, let's see, did hit 90 in that game in Atlanta on Sunday. One time.
One strike, make it 2 strikes, excuse me, the count on Ramirez. The pitch, breaking ball, loop towards right, down the line, but it's going to cut foul and bounce into the crowd. Again, one off speed with a changeup away. He had Ramirez off balance, but Hanley fouled it off to the right. Smith has struck out 1, walked only 1, but had the hit batsman that cost him, the walk coming in this inning, and has allowed the 2 solo homers. Rockies and Marlins each have 5 hits, but the 2 long balls among their 5 hits, the difference for Florida. 0-2 pitch, high with a fastball, 1-2. Arizona will host Philly again tonight in the desert, and the Cardinals are in San Francisco. Tim Lincecum winning again last night for the Giants, like Ubaldo Jimenez, 4-0 to start the season for San Francisco. 1-2 is low, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Shadows are definitely a factor now. The home plate being blocked a little bit from the sun by the high light standards on the left side of Coors Field. Everything else still bathed in sunshine. 2-2 pitch. Swung on and fouled at the plate. Chris Iannetta really had no chance. That ball went directly down off the bat of Ramirez because it went off his left foot. Sanchez steps off to his lead. Doesn't have a stolen base yet on the season. 2-2 pitch is hit through the hole on the left side, and Ramirez, for the second straight time after Sanchez gets aboard on a freebie, gets a base hit to bring Jorge Cantu to the plate.
Well, Hanley Ramirez, one of those interesting hitters in Major League Baseball. You see a few of those scattered in each league where he will look bad. I mean, he'll swing at a pitch out of the strike zone. He'll corkscrew himself in the ground. Next thing you know, he's got a line drive to left. He's got a home run here, hitting the ball in the gap the other way. One of those guys, you never know what he's going to do with that bat. A lot of times he will surprise you with it.
And it brings Cantu to the plate, who has been torrid to begin the year with 19 runs batted in, including the one today, but he won't get one on this at bat. A pop up on the infield. Clint Barmas calls off. Everybody grabs it to the right of the mound to retire Cantu and the Marlins. Halfway through this one, Florida leads it 3-1. providing maximum protection from additional buildup. Care about your vehicle. Try Shell V-Power gasoline and unlock the power of your engine.
Rockies baseball on 850 KOA.
Bottom of the fifth inning here at Coors Field. Florida with a 3-1 advantage. Clint Barmas was at the plate when Ian Stewart was caught trying to steal. Clint shows bunt, and he'll take a fastball at the knees on the outside part of the plate for strike one. Clint fouled out to the first baseman, Gabby Sanchez, in his previous at-bat. Greg Smith and then Carlos Gonzalez to follow. Pitch outside, 1-1. Bottom of the fifth, brought to you by Applejack Wine and Spirits. For your next party or special event, get to Applejack, I-70 and Youngfield. Nolasco twists and fires, and Barmas hits a big one-hopper to the third baseman, Jorge Cantu. Over to Gabby Sanchez for out number one. Let's pause for station identification here on the Rockies Radio Network.
When you need to know what's ahead for the Rockies, see the schedule online and hear Rockies interviews at RockiesRadioNetwork.com.
Greg Smith lined out to left field his first time up. Left-handed pitcher, left-handed batter, and he'll yank it into right field for a base hit. Cody Ross goes down to one knee to field it, and Greg Smith continues to swing a pretty good bat. He is 2 for 7 on the season, but he's put a couple of charges into the baseball in those at-bats.
Well, you know, he's a great athlete. He was a high school quarterback. He also was the cleanup hitter for his high school team in Alexandria, Louisiana. And most pitchers were, but he was a very good one, an all-state player as a high school junior and senior, and hit over 400 both years.
Back to the top of the order. Nolasco has handled Carlos Gonzalez thus far. A couple of soft hits towards the third baseman, and he'll look at an off-speed pitch at the knees for a strike. Soft line drive to Cantu, leading off the day offensively for the Rockies, and last time a one bouncer right to Cantu at third. Sanchez playing behind Smith, the runner at first. The 0-1 on the outside corner, a called strike two. And boy, Carlos, you can read his body language. He didn't like that call at all. But it's 0-2. Two strikes, the count on Gonzalez. 1 on, 1 out, 3-1 in favor of Florida. Polino sets up an inside target, and Gonzalez swings and misses for strike three. Nolasco hasn't thrown anything harder than 91 miles an hour, but he has had terrific movement on his pitches today. He has fanned 5 of the Rockies hitters. Rockies' 6 hits have all been singles. 2 gone for Seth Smith, with Smith Greg still on at first base. The pitch in there for a called strike one. That pitch coming in at 84 on a slider, according to the Fast Cash Gold Center speed gun. You get 40% more for your gold at any of the 12 Metro Denver Fast Cash Gold Centers. Nolasco steps off the rubber. Now everybody's set. The 0-1 to Seth Smith is off the outside part of the plate. 1 ball and 1 strike. Aaron Cook against lefty Nate Robertson in the second game of the doubleheader. It'll start 20 to 30 minutes after the completion of this first game. 1-1 delivery. Low, 2-1. Didn't get Seth Smith to go after a sinker away, or maybe a backdoor cutter. 2-1 on the Rockies left fielder. Brad Hopp had to leave the game with some tightness in his left quad. Ryan Spilborg's now in the game in right. 2-1 pitch. Outside corner, 2-2. Boy, he has done a good job of just painting that outside part of the plate. He's done it primarily with fastballs, but now he is starting to do it with the backdoor sliders. A 2-2 pitch. Low, full count.
Velasco seems to be doing a good job of making the Rockies hitters guess. They seem to be fooled by the pitch selection many times so far in this game. When you think the fastball's coming, the breaking pitch comes, and vice versa. I guess that's the way you want it if you're a pitcher.
You know, the Smith boys hoping to do something here. Greg will break from first. Seth awaits the 3-2, and it's a check swing roller towards third. Up with the ball. Cantu on to first, and that retires the side. We'll go to the sixth. It remains 3-1 Florida.
% as much, if not more. Learn about great lease deals on Kazashi at Suzuki.com or your Greater Rocky Mountain area Suzuki dealer today. And see for yourself why Suzuki won't be America's best kept secret for long. Honda, NissanTime.com, and Autoblog.com are registered trademarks. Horsepower claim based on manufacturer's websites as a 32210. Class refers to Global Insight's lower mid-size segment.
Listen to 850 KOA for every second of Rockies baseball with Jack Corrigan and Jerry Schemmel, and interviews with manager Jim Tracy.
The future is extremely bright here.
Tuesday mornings at 7:35 on the home of the Rockies. 850 KOA. The Colorado Rockies on 850 KOA.
3-1 Florida as we get set for the sixth inning. Ricky Nolasco has done a good job of taking the power away from the Rockies offense so far. You need to power up your car with Shell V-Power high-octane nitrogen-enriched gasoline. Hit your own home run with premium fuel for a premium ride.
3-1 Rockies are down here in the top of the sixth inning. I'll remind you that as a voice of Tynan's Family Used Car Superstore on South Havana, I have to tell you I'm impressed with their 100 quality storybook and pedigree pre-owned cars, their credit approval guarantee, and many cars under $12,000. Visit them at Tynans.com. Dan Uggla will lead it off for the Marlins here in the sixth inning. He homered back in the second inning to get the scoring started for his team. A solo shot with one out. Then he flied to left field. So 1 for 2 with that home run. Not often you see a second baseman hitting fifth, but that's where he's at with that kind of power. Here's a pitch by Greg Smith, and a line drive down the left field line is going to hook foul. No, it is not. It's a fair ball. Around first base goes Uggla. He'll trot into second base, get there with a stand-up double. That one just inside the line, and again, the Marlins have something going, this time in the sixth inning.
Well, like the home run, either no tilt or the wrong location with a mid-80s fastball for Greg Smith, and Danny Uggla's going to punish those pitches.
He did the first time around. He did one there. A home run and a double for him now. Here's Ronnie Paulino, the catcher. Paulino today is 0 for 2. Popped out and grounded out. Here's the pitch. Takes a fastball outside. Paulino from the Dominican Republic. getting the start in game one, probably will not start the second game at catcher. That's usually the way it works. The next pitch is catching an outside corner for a strike. Paulino last year hit .272. He had 8 home runs, 27 RBIs in 80 games with the Marlins. He was a part-time catcher a year ago.
And John Baker, their #1 guy behind the plate.
Here's the pitch, and that one's low. 2 balls and a strike. He really hits left-handers well. Paulino does. This year, hitting .462 against left-handers. And since 2005, owns the the 8th highest average in the majors against left-handed pitchers. Next pitch missed outside. 3 balls and 1 strike. All that success against the lefties. 0 for 2 today. Let's hope it stays that way. Greg Smith a bit upset with himself there. Gets that ball back and makes a little circle around the rubber.
Manny Corpus, the right-hander, starting to throw in the Rockies bullpen.
Yeah, you just kind of see that body language from Smith. Like, I can't get it going here. 3 balls and a strike. A runner at second base. Nobody out. The pitch and a line softly into right field. Barmas giving chase over the shoulder. Can't get it. Drops in front of the right fielder, which is Ryan Spilborghs. The runner, Ugla, holds at third base. Ball in quickly by Spilborghs. And first and third and nobody out for Florida.
Much like the Ramirez hit back in the 3rd inning when the Marlins scored 2 of their 3 runs, a changeup in which Greg had the Florida hitter off balance, but Paulino got enough lumber on it to get it out over the infield and shallow enough that Spilborghs couldn't get there in time.
So Paulino at first and Ugla's at third base and nobody out. And now here's the #7 hitter, Cody Ross. He's flied out twice to center field. And Jim Trace is going to make a move right here and bring in Manny Corpus. So we've got a pitching change. We're in the top of the 6th inning. First and third for Florida and nobody out. A 3-1 lead for the Marlins. So we got a pitching change. We'll come back after these messages on the Rockies Radio Network.
The scene, his 8th appearance of the year. Manny's 0-1 on the season, but a 1.80 ERA. He's allowed just 2 runs on 7 hits in 10 innings of work.
Yeah, Manny's pitched pretty well. In fact, I think very well at times, the Rockies this year. Last outing was on Monday at Washington. Threw a couple scoreless innings then. Goes to work here, first and third, and nobody out. And the hitter, the right-hander, Cody Ross. The pitch to him when it popped up in the infield. Foul ground for Todd Helton as he stands on the bag. He catches the ball standing in foul ground with 1 foot on the bag. He took it off as he caught the ball, but there's a big first out.
Well, and they couldn't call infield fly rule because it was a foul ball.
Yep.
but the base runner, Paulino, knew enough to keep that foot right on the bag and not get caught straying anywhere.
So here's now Brett Carroll, who homered back in the third inning, a solo shot to begin that third frame, and he's also struck out. Right-hander against right-hander again. One out, first and third. By the way, Paulino at first does not have a stolen base attempt this year, so don't look for him to be going. And Manny Corpus in the stretch. At the belt, here's the pitch. Curveball missing in. Yankees now with a 7-1 lead against the Angels on the West Coast. Top of the ninth inning there. Final, the White Sox beat the Mariners in the American League 5-4. Bottom of three now. The Rays at home against the Jays. Two teams playing very well. No score in the bottom of the third. Red Sox and Orioles at Fenway later on tonight. Same way with the Twins at the Royals. And Tigers, the Rangers in the American League later on tonight. 1 ball, no strikes to Brett Carroll. Here's a pitch to him, and he hits that one to shallow center field. Coming on Gonzalez. See if he can have a play at the plate here. He catches. He sets up. He fires. Here comes a throw to home, and he is safe at home. Ugla beat the throw by a couple of feet, and now it's 4-1 Marlins. Sacrifice fly for Carroll. Gives him an RBI. And here comes Ricky Nolasco. Paulino stays at first base. So we got a runner at first base and 2 outs for the Marlins. Dave Collins, by the way, former Rockies coach, coaching over at first base for the Marlins.
Yeah, ball had just enough carry that Carlos couldn't quite get the throw home in time.
Here's the pitch to Nolasco, and that's low for a ball. Mentioned Dave Collins. Got a question for you, Jack. Easy one. It's a softball. Who holds the South Dakota record for the 100-yard dash?
Oh, I knew that, yeah. Davey still runs every day.
Here's the pitch, swing and a miss by Nolasco. That's set in is either 1970, I think it's 1971. They don't run the 100-yard dash anymore, but they run the 100 meters. But he had that record for, 30 years, I think, something like that, and still has it. Nobody could run the 100-yard dash faster. Here's the pitch, swing and a miss.
Shows you how old I am, because I used to run the 100-yard dash in the 220 and the 440 instead of the 200 and the 400.
I'm in that same boat, Jack. I saw Dave Collins play baseball in high school. What a player he was. 1-2. Here's the pitch. Checking his swing, Nolasco, taking it for a ball. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Rapid City, South Dakota, Dave Collins. Terrific guy. Terrific outfield coach as well. Jack mentioned him earlier, the work he's done with the Marlins outfielders. 2-2, the pitch, and the fly ball to center field. Gonzalez will move to his left a couple of steps, and he will make the catch. There's out number 3. Marlins get one more, though. Bottom of 6. It's 4-1 Florida. Bottom of 6 here at Coors Field. Rockies are trailing 4-1. And Todd Helton will get it going for Colorado. 3, 4, and 5 for the Rockies. Helton, Tulowitzki, and then Ryan Spilborghs. Todd Helton 1 for 2 with a single and a flyout. Todd for the year now hitting .308. No home runs and 3 RBIs. So still looking for that first big knock of the year. Here's a pitch lined into right field. That is a base hit. Solid single for Todd Helton to begin the 6th inning. So the Rockies had a leadoff man aboard, trying to get something going, trailing by 3.
And this is the time of the game, too, Jerry, in that the Marlins' struggles this year have been with the front end of their bullpen. Decent closer in Leo Nunez and a pretty good starting rotation. But in the games that they have lost this year, many times you can trace it to the front end of their pen.
Yep, starting pitching has been very good for the Marlins this year. 3.78, but 4.3 for the bullpen. Tulowitzki next. Fly ball to left center field. Room for Carroll and Maben. Maben's going to call off his left fielder and make the catch. Elton fakes a tag and runs towards second. Gets about halfway there. Turns around and goes back. And the fly out for Tulowitzki is a first out of the inning. And Troy found a pitch he liked, but just got under a bit. And now here is Ryan Spilborghs hitting for the first time today. Came in the 5th inning defensively for Brad Hopp, who apparently has strained the other quad now. So Brad will sit out this game and the rest of the day, we're sure. So here's Ryan Spilborghs. Right-hander against right-hander. Helton off at first, checking his swing, taking the first pitch for ball 1. Spilborghs, .286 this year, does have a couple of home runs and 6 RBIs. Always nice when a guy like Hopp goes down. You got a guy like Spilborghs to step in. To the stretch, Nolasco. Here's the pitch to Spilborghs. Swung on and missed. Big cut there. 1 ball and 1 strike. A glance at the NBA scoreboard today. Magic got a win on the road in the playoffs against Charlotte, beating them 90-86. Fourth quarter, 76-76. Portland and Phoenix, 8.5 to go. 1-1 delivery, and low and away to Ryan Spilborghs. Hawks at Milwaukee later on. Lakers at the Thunder later on. Jack and I watched some of that Nuggets game, Salt Lake City last night against the Jazz, and I don't know who looked better, either the Jazz the way they played or the Nuggets the way they didn't play. I couldn't tell which was worse and which was better. Helton off a first. Short lead for Todd. The pitch to Spilborghs, fouled out of play. Nuggets better get going here.
Yeah, that's a tough building to win when you're a road club, and Jerry, you've known that through the years. And Nuggets do not want to be down 3-1 coming back to Pepsi Center next week.
You can't automatically think you're going to win at home against the Jazz either. So 2-2 to Spilborghs. 1 out with Hopp at first base, with Helton at first base. I'm sorry. The pitch to Spilborghs. Check that swing again. 3 balls and 2 strikes. That one in the dirt. NHL playoffs, a final in overtime. Blackhawks get a win at home against the Predators. Later on tonight, Pittsburgh at the Senators. And the Sharks at the Avalanche tonight. That's an 8 o'clock Mountain Time start. 3 balls, 2 strikes to Spilborghs. The pitch, a ground ball to second. Should be 2. Second for 1. Ramirez on to first base for the double play. Now he retires his side. Nothing doing for the Rockies in the 6th. Top of the 7th coming up. Still Florida up 4-1.
CSU Global Online University. CSUglobal.org.
Rockies baseball, 850 KOA.
It's the top of the order for the Marlins in the 7th inning. A 4-1 lead for the visitors. And Manny Corpus going back to work. Follow the Rockies on your iPhone, iPod Touch, BlackBerry, or Android phone with the MLB.com At-Bat 2010 featuring play-by-play and video highlights. Check it out at ColoradoRockies.com to purchase on your phone. Leadoff hitter is Cameron Maben. He takes a first pitch low for ball 1. He's 1 for 3 with a bunt single to begin the ball game. Then he's grounded out twice since then. Corpus in a stretch. 1-0 delivery. And that one's right down the middle for a strike. Marlins put up 1 in the 2nd inning. 2 more in the 3rd inning. 1 more in the 6th. Rockies' lone run coming in the 4th inning. Couple of home runs by the Marlins today. Couple of solo shots. Here's the pitch. And taken to the knees for another strike. That recap brought to you by Lowe's. Let's build something together. So, ball and 2 strikes to the leadoff hitter, Cameron Maben. Just talking about the NBA and the Rockies. Speaking of the NBA again, Cameron Maben's got a cousin who plays in the NBA. Here's a pitch to him. He swings and he misses. That's strike 3.
Good slider by Manny Corpus, excuse me. I'm looking at the story on Manny Ramirez going on the disabled list.
I saw his team won today. You mentioned that earlier, Jack, at 13 innings, 4-3. By the way, the cousin of Cameron Maben, to finish that thought, Rashad McCants, who played at North Carolina, drafted by the Minnesota Timberwolves. 1 out and nobody on. Gabby Sanchez is next. Swings the first pitch. It's in the dirt. Nice looking breaking pitch there. And it's 0-1. Slider at 80 miles an hour by Manny. We mentioned he had really pitched well the last week and a half. And he's trying to keep it going here today. Trying to keep his team in the game. Down 3 in the 7th. Here's a pitch and a ground ball foul down the third base side. Sanchez has scored a run today. Got hit by a pitch in the 3rd inning. Ended up scoring. He's also walked, hit into a double play. Another final in the National League. Padres, as Jack said, a 5-0 win over the Reds. Boy, the Padres getting some pitching. 0-2 in the pitch and a ground ball chopper charged by Stewart. Glove hands and throws to first base in time for the out. Sanchez runs pretty well, but a good play again by Ian Stewart, and there are 2 down. Brings up Hanley Ramirez. Also, always nice to pitch this guy with 2 outs and nobody on. He's got a couple of singles today and a fly out. So the average now for Ramirez at .323. 1 home run for him on the year, 6 RBIs. Of course, last year he had those 24 RBIs and that batting average at .342 to win that National League batting title. First pitch is low and away for ball 1. Ramirez taps the plate a couple of times. In the stretch is Manny Corpus. Here's the right-hander's delivery, and it's a pop-up in the infield. Called for by Helton. Todd's going to call off his pitcher, and he'll make the catch right between the mound and home plate to retire the side. Nicely done again by Manny Corpus. 7th inning stretch time here at Coors Field. And the 7th inning stretch brought to you by Shell, helping to
3-792-5595.
Your Rockies station, 850 KOA.
Into the seventh will pitch Ricky Nolasco now, and it goes to work against Chris Iannetta. Fouls the first pitch out of play. So 0-1 to Chris Iannetta.
A change defensively for the Marlins. We'll get it in a moment.
Here's the 0-1 delivery, and that's a curveball in there for strike to Chris. 0-2.
Gabby Sanchez, who's still learning to play first base, he is out. Jorge Cantu moves from third base to first base. Brian Barden into the game to play third and bat second.
0-2 to Iannetta, and he checked his swing. It's appealed to first. The umpire says he went around. That is strike three, and 3 strikeouts today for Chris Iannetta.
And again, Jerry, right now Chris is in that check swing phase.
Let's pause 10 seconds right here for station identification on the Rockies Radio Network.
Colorado Rockies Baseball 2010.
With Jack Corrigan and Jerry Schimmel.
On News Radio 850 KOA, Denver. 850KOA.com.
So 1 out for Ian Stewart. He's driven in the only run today for the Rockies. Takes a first pitch outside. It's ball 1. Popped up to shortstop his first time up, then an RBI single back in the 4th. Eventually got caught stealing. So he's 1 for 2. Here's the wind by Nolasco, and the pitch is breaking pitch in there for a strike. Boy, he's hitting his spots today.
He's hit his spots, and he's kept Rockies hitters off balance. They just many times have been caught looking for something else.
Here's the next pitch to Ian Stewart. Swing and a miss. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Ian. Klein and Greg Smith, 5 innings, 3 runs all earned. Gave up 8 hits. 4 runs all earned, I'm sorry. And 1 walk and 1 strikeout today. 1-2 to Ian Stewart, and the pitch. Curveball called, strike 3. Broke right in there at the knees. Again, a perfect spot. 2 up and 2 down with strikeouts for Ricky Nolasco. Let's see if Clint Barmas can get something going now for the Rockies with 2 outs. 4-1, Rockies down. 1 run on 7 hits for the Rockies today. 4 runs on 8 hits for the Marlins. Dexter Fowler's come out, swinging the bat, waiting on deck for the Rockies. If Barmas can get on, he will hit for the pitcher spot. Here's the windup and the pitch to Barmas. Called strike on the outside corner. Here's the next pitch to Barmas. Swing and a miss. Way out ahead of that changeup, and he's down 0-2.
Now the shadows now really working in the favor of Ricky Nolasco, throwing curveballs and off-speed pitches, and the Rockies hitters just not picking the ball up very well.
Here's the windup. 0-2 to Clint Barmas. Checked his swing. It's appealed to first. This time the umpire at first, Corey Blazer, says no. Cold weather doesn't seem to be bothering Ricky Nolasco. Of course, he pitched all those years in Detroit, so he's probably used to this kind of stuff in the spring. 1-2. The pitch to Barmas, and a fly ball to center field. Coming in is Maben. He calls off his right fielder Ross, and he makes the catch in shallow right center field. That's it for the Rockies in the 7th inning. To the top of the 8th, 4-1 Florida.
NHL playoff action as the Colorado Avalanche take on the San Jose Sharks in Game 6 of the first round. Coverage begins at 7:30 p.m. all season long. Every game in high definition. For programming information, visit altitude.tv.
The Colorado Rockies on 850 KOA.
8th inning, Rockies down 4-1. Ricky Nolasco, a terrific pitching performance so far by the Marlins. Manny Corpus, working in his 3rd inning of relief, will deliver a strike after a first pitch ball. Count 1-1 on Jorge Cantu. Cantu has a hit in 3 tries, knocked in the 3rd Florida run. He'll bounce it just outside the bag at 3rd, foul. Ian Stewart got it, fired it over to 1st. Todd Elton grabbed it, but it was a foul ball. 1-2 on Cantu. Rockies baseball brought to you in part by Mattress King. Find out why Mattress King says nobody beats the king. Nobody. Cantu extending his hitting streak to 17 with that RBI single. 17 this year, 21 including the 4 games last season that ended the year. Inside corner, called strike 3, and now Rob Drake becoming an equal opportunity annoyer because he certainly drew the wrath of Jorge Cantu on that strike 3 call. For Manny Corpus, it is his 2nd strikeout. Manny pounding the strike zone, 15 of his 21 pitches for strikes. Danny Ugla has been the big hero offensively for Florida. He'll take a pitch low, ball 1. He homered in the 2nd inning, a line drive into the seats and left. That was the first Florida run. He then set up run number 4 in the 6th inning with a leadoff double against Greg Smith. Fly to left his other time up, pitch inside and low to Ugla. 2 balls and no strikes. Having his best April in a Florida uniform, and interesting in that the scuttlebutt around baseball was that Florida tried very hard to trade Dan Ugla in the offseason. The 2-0. Way inside, 3-0. Randy Flores, a left-hander, throwing in the Rockies bullpen. And somebody standing on the mound on the Marlins side, but not throwing at all. First time Corpus has been behind 3-0 to a hitter since coming on in that 6th inning. Taking all the way, Ugla will look at a strike. It's 3-1. Ugla, very square stance, holds that bat high, flicks it a few times as he awaits the pitch, takes a ball inside, apparently ball 4. That looked better than the strike 3 call to Cantu, but it's a base on balls for Ugla. 3rd time he has been on base here in game 1. Ronnie Paulino, a single in 3 tries. He was the last man that starter Greg Smith saw. He blooped a hit to right field, and that got Ugla to 3rd, where he scored on a sacrifice fly to provide Florida's 4th run. First pitch to the catcher Paulino's in for a strike. The next delivery, a called strike 2 with a fastball at the knees. We'll get our Comcast email of the game question here in the 8th inning. Send us your baseball questions with your name, city where you live. Send it to email of the game at Comcast.net. We read your email on the air. You're going to win a pair of tickets to a future game courtesy of Comcast. Pitch inside to Paulino. 1 ball and 2 strikes. 4 runs on 8 hits for the Marlins. A run on 7 hits for the Rockies. Both teams error-free baseball. The 1-2 to Paulino in the dirt. Iannetta slides to his right to block it. He'll throw that baseball out and get a new one. Ricky Nolasco has allowed the 7 hits, but they've all been singles, and he has done a wonderful job of keeping Rockies hitters off balance. Rockies lone RBI off the bat of Ian Stewart. Pitch to Paulino is a 2-hopper foul outside the bag at third. Our Comcast email of the game today comes from Mark Strivings of Westminster. He says, I've noticed there's a pattern in the grass at Coors Field, and I've seen variations on those patterns in other ballparks when the Rockies are out of town. Is there a specific reason, or is it just part of keeping the grass mowed? And is there a visual advantage for a pattern cut versus a cut with no pattern? Pitch to Paulino, grounded up the middle. Tulowitzki to Barmas at second for one. On to first for a double play. And we'll give you the answer to Mark Striving's question. Head to the bottom of the 8th. 4-1 Florida. Marlins, bottom of the 8th inning here at Coors Field, answering Mark Striving's question. Mark from Westminster wanted to know about the patterns on the mowing of the grass at Major League ballparks, if there was anything visually advantageous to having pattern cuts, and the answer is no, Mark, but there have been some interesting treatments of the grass. I'm old school, you folks know that. I like the basic crisscross pattern used by the Rockies here at Coors Field. Good question, Mark. You'll win a pair of tickets to a future home game courtesy of Comcast. Dexter Fowler will lead off the Rockies' 8th as a pinch hitter for Manny Corpus. Wonderful work by Manny. 3 shutout innings out of the bullpen. Fowler hitting at 169, checks his swing, and that's a strike. And we're talking about the check swings by the Rockies in this game, between the shadows and the pitching patterns of Ricky Nolasco. They've just not been able to zero in too well. Swing and a miss at a fastball, and Dexter down in the count 1-2. Nolasco had 3 complete games in his career coming into 2010. 1-2 pitch. Dex swings and misses at a breaking ball, and Nolasco, building on his season's high in strikeouts, has his 8th on the afternoon. Nolasco, if he were to finish this game, would have back-to-back complete games. He has been very sharp throughout this game. The Rockies have never beaten him. He is 3-0 lifetime against Colorado. Top of the order, Carlos Gonzalez, 0 for 3. He has a strikeout on the day. Carlos loops it foul off to the left.
You know, you think when you have all those strikeouts that you'd be a power pitcher throwing the ball by people. He's not doing that. We've talked about that all afternoon. He has hit his spots and changed his speeds just like he wants.
0-1 to Gonzalez is off speed but missing this time away. 1 ball and 1 strike. Hasn't gone inside too often to hitters, but when he has, it's when he has gotten Rockies thinking the ball's going to be away and they get handcuffed. 1-1 is popped up foul. It'll drift over the third base dugout about 5 rows into the seats. Some activity for the Marlins. A righty and a lefty. Pinto is the left-hander. Try and see who the right-hander is. He's obscured by the bushes out there. 1-2 pitch to Gonzalez. Swing and a miss on an off-speed pitch. Strike 3. This is as good as I have seen Ricky Nolasco. Now keep in mind, folks, I said back-to-back complete games a possibility for Nolasco. The last one against the Phillies limited Philadelphia to a run on 5 hits, and the run scored on a home run. Seth Smith now has one of the Rockies' 7 singles on the day. Fastball misses to the left-handed hitter outside and low, ball 1.
Matt Daly out in the Rockies bullpen getting loose.
He'll work the 9th against the bottom of the Florida order. Pitch in for a strike to Seth Smith, 1-1. Scoreboard update brought to you by Pacific Specialty Home Insurance, the smart choice. PacificSpecialty.com, the place to find an agent. Underway in Houston, the Pirates and Astros scoreless. Likewise in Milwaukee, the Cubs and the Brewers swinging a foul straight back on a fastball as Seth Smith falls behind a ball and 2 strikes. Nolasco has not walked anybody. He had 1 3-0 count. That was last inning, and then he came back to strike out Chris Iannetta. 1-2 pitch to Smith inside with a heater, 2-2.
Yeah, he'll sneak a fastball in there. That one 92 miles an hour. I think that's the highest we've seen with velocity today. He'll set you up. He'll throw that slow curve. He'll throw a change up, then kind of come back with that fastball to surprise you. Done that a couple times today.
Pitch number 104 on the afternoon for Nolasco. Now the 2-2. Broken bat liner speared by the second baseman Danny Ugla, and the Rockies are done in the 8th. We'll head to the 9th. It's still 4-1 Florida.
first game here at Coors Field, 1995. First 10,000 through the gates get a special gift commemorating that home run. Buy your tickets now at the Rockies ticket outlets or online at ColoradoRockies.com. New pitcher for the Rockies, as Jack said, is Matt Daly, the right-hander, and this guy has been terrific. He has now, he's got his 9th appearance, worked 8 consecutive scoreless appearances to begin this season. That's 6 innings of work, so no record, no ERA, 0.00 for Matt Daly. And pitching great out of that bullpen, as the rest of the gang has from the bullpen for Jim Tracy this year.
The Rockies are down 3, 4-1, as Cody Ross leads it off for the Fish. He has flied out twice to center field and fouled out to Todd Helton. Takes a breaking ball outside for ball 1. Brett Carroll and then the pitcher's spot due to bat here in the 9th. Taking, Ross looks at a strike, 1 ball and 1 strike.
Rockies bullpen for the year, number 1 with ERA in the National League, 2.29. Andy Corpus helping that out. 3 innings, no hits.
1-1 to Ross, swung on and missed. 1 ball and 2 strikes. It's just the first of 2. The Rockies will have Aaron Cook against lefty Nate Robertson in the nightcap. Rockies will have the heart of the order, Helton, Tulowitzki, and Spilborghs, to face whoever pitches for Florida in the bottom of the 9th. Next pitch swung on and missed, and Cody Ross is a strikeout victim and out number 1. And again, when you get to this time of night at this time of year, and time of night it's only 5:27, but the shadows at home plate for guys who can spin the ball a little bit with the bright sunshine still as the hitter's background, it is a challenge. Brett Carroll swings and misses at a high fastball for strike 1. Carroll has knocked in 2 of the Florida 4 runs. Solo homer in the 3rd inning, and then a sac fly to score the 4th run for Florida in the 6th. 0-1 pitch. Hit well to left field, going back Seth Smith. He'll have to play it off the fence. Just missed being another homer for Brett Carroll. He's into second with a double. Boy, he waited back on a curveball and whacked it hard to left. Second double of the season for Brett Carroll.
Yeah, that one, like Jack said, almost out of here. That hit, I think, just a couple of feet below that yellow spot on the top of the fence out there. A little screen between that and the pad, and it hit right in that screen.
And now Bob Apodaca heads to the mound for a conversation, because it will not be a complete game for Ricky Nolasco. Looking for another run. Freddie Gonzalez is going to send a pinch hitter to the plate, Mike Lamb. He's a left-handed batter, and many times you'll see the Rockies do this. Make sure everybody's squared away in the scouting report for the pinch hitter. For the best ticket values in the ballpark, why not purchase one of the Rockies season ticket packages or one of their 15 to 25 game mini plans? Most packages include the Red Sox and the fireworks games. Postseason opportunities, substantial savings with these packages. 303 Rockies or ColoradoRockies.com to order. Lamb pinch hitting. We'll look at strike 1 on a good fastball at 88 miles an hour from Matt Daly, according to the Fast Cash Gold Center's speed gun. Check on the runner at second. The 0-1 pitch to Mike Lamb, low and inside, backhanded by Iannetta as he moved to his right. 1 ball, 1 strike. Mike Lamb, a veteran, been with a number of ball clubs, providing that pop off the bench from the left side for Freddie Garcia. The 1-1, low and in again as Daly's fastball ran too hard down and into the lefty. 2 balls and a strike. Leo Nunez, the closer, up and throwing in the bullpen for the Fish. He'll work the bottom of the ninth. 1-on-1 out here for Florida, and it's a bouncing ball to the left side, backhanded by Tulo. He knocked it down, and the ball actually went off his foot and rolled to Ian Stewart at third, but Carroll was in before Stu could do anything with the ball. I think Tulo knew his best chance of getting a play was to get the runner at third. He just couldn't come up with the baseball.
And he circled around trying to get that one moving forward with that glove hand, but that was a tough hop, a tough play, and everybody remained safe.
So a challenge for Matt Daly now. It will be an infield hit for Lamb. I think that was the correct call. Troy was shaded up the middle and had to work back towards third and almost drop kicked his way into an out at third base. Cameron Maben will spin away from a pitch up and in from Matt Daly. Ball one on Maben with runners on the corners. One out in the ninth. 4-1 Florida. Maben, a bunt base hit his first time up. Since then he has grounded to second, grounded to short, and struck out. This is going to be a very tough guy to double up on a ground ball unless it's hit smartly. The pitch looped foul and out of play down the right side. 1 ball, 1 strike. Let's pause for station identification here on the Rockies Radio Network.
On the way to work and on your way home, we've got you covered. News, sports, traffic, and weather on 850 KOA.
850KOA.com.
Joey Espada, the third base coach for Freddie Gonzalez, flashes some signs and walks over to the runner at third, Brett Carroll, and whispers in his ears, so he's certain about what might be on here. Daly comes set. Matt's 1-1 pitch. Strike 2 called with a fastball away. Maben, it's his turn to be in either disagreement or mad at himself. In any event, he's down 1 ball and 2 strikes. Helton holding Lamb on at first. Carroll down the line at third. The 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. He got him with a breaking ball. They struck out Maben last time up off speed. They do it again.
He's got such great movement on that curveball, and he'll bring it in and hide the ball from you with his back turned to the hitter, and then that thing just rode a little bit. That one's out of the strike zone, came back in the strike zone, and no chance that time for Maben to get any kind of piece of it.
Well, Daly with a chance to wriggle out of this and keep the Rockies within 3. But he'll have to take care of Brian Barden. Barden is 0 for 4 to begin the season. Right-handed batter. Primarily an infielder. He'll swing and miss for strike 1 on a pitch running away from the righty. And again, for some of these guys, they are seeing Matt Daly for the first time, and that unorthodox setup to his move to the plate, add the shadows to it as well. Now the 0-1 in the dirt. Lamb heading towards second. Now here comes Carroll to the plate, and they've got him caught between second and third. Throw to third. Good pickup by Stewart on a low throw. Chases Carroll down, and Helton tags him out. So the run dies in a rundown going from third to home. We'll go to the bottom of the ninth. Rockies need 3 to keep it going. 4-1 Florida.
8th appearance. So 7 before this, 7 in the 3rd innings he's pitched and allowed 1 hit and struck out 10. He has walked 4, but 1 hit in 7 in the 3rd. He's got on the year 3 saves, going for number 4.
Even with just the 1 hit allowed, he has a blown save on the season, and the Rockies would love to pin the second one on Nunez. He'll get Helton, Tulowitzki, and Spilborghs to start it off. Ricky Nolasco, 8 innings, a run on 7 hits, a season high 9 strikeouts. Didn't walk anybody. Todd, 2 singles against Nolasco, and Nunez delivers outside, ball 1. Nunez became their closer last year, saved 26. Next delivery is high, 2 balls and no strikes. Rockies, of course, know they need base runners. The 26-year-old is a tall drink of water, about 6'3" and 180, and he looks like he's all legs. His 2-0 on the inside part of the plate, and Todd thought that fastball ran off the corner before it crossed into the strike zone. 2 balls and a strike. Remember, we'll stay with you between games here on the Rockies radio network. Outside corner, called strike 2, and boy, I don't think anybody wearing a Rockies uniform thought that was a strike, but it's a 2-2 count now on Helton. Low 90s fastball for Nunez. Polino sets up the target. The 2-2 to Todd is the same spot as the previous pitch, and that changeup is called ball 3.
Well, if you get it for a strike, why not throw it again?
Yeah, I mean, that's the right thing, and it borderline pitch, got 1 call, didn't get the other. Now the payoff to Helton. Low, he walked him. So the Rockies get their first man aboard. And always bear repeating that, we all think we can umpire until you'd have to do it sitting there behind the catcher. It's not an easy job making those decisions. I think players and managers and coaches look for consistency from an umpire, and the umpires do the same for themselves. They want to be consistent. Tulo has 2 hits. He'll lean back from a pitch that misses for ball 1.
What do you suppose Ricky Nolasco is thinking right now? He goes in the dugout having pitched 8 innings and not walked anybody. His closer comes on and promptly walks the first hitter he sees. That's the first walk of the afternoon issued by either pitcher.
And after the ball 1 toss to Tulowitzki, Hanley Ramirez came in, and it wasn't a hey, let's go, pal. It was a little sterner than that, the conversation from the Marlins shortstop. 1-0 to Troy. He takes it for a strike. Evens the count at 1-1. Tulo and Todd have 4 of the Rockies' 7 hits. Troy scored the Rockies' run in the 4th inning on a 2-out single by Ian Stewart. 1-1 is a big bounce towards the third baseman Barton. He goes to second for 1. Relay by Ugla to first. Dugout by Cantu. It's a double play. Ricky Nolasco with a changeup gets Tulowitzki for a double play. 2 gone in the 9th. This is a copyrighted broadcast presented by the authority, the Colorado Rockies, and by law we must tell you it cannot be reproduced or retransmitted in any form without the express written consent of the Rockies. Speaking of legal, Berg Simpson, they're on your side. The Berg Simpson Law Firm, fighters for justice when the game is on the line. Ryan Spilborghs will try and keep Rockies' hopes alive. Ryan will take a fastball on the inside corner for strike 1. Ryan hit into a double play in his lone at bat since coming on for Brad Hopp, who had to leave with some tightness in his quad, his left quad now, so he's had some issues with both legs here in the early going. Pitch missing high and away to Spielborgs. 1-1 on Ryan. 2 outs in the ninth. Rockies down 4-1. Nolasco sets at the belt. The 1-1. Swing and a miss. Boy, good movement on that pitch. Another changeup. It's 1-2.
Yeah, great looking pitch right there. Took a bunch off that. Last pitch was 94, the fastball. Came back with a changeup at 86. Really keeping the hitters off balance, just like his predecessor, the starter Nolasco, did.
Nunez ready. Ames fires low. 2-2. Astros with a couple of runs, still batting in the second inning, leading the Pirates 2-0. Yankees went on to win that game in Anaheim, beating the Angels 7-1. New York needs to keep winning early on here with the way Tampa Bay's winning. 2-2 on Ryan Spielborgs, trying to keep the game alive for the Rockies. Leo Nunez delivers, and Ryan hits it in the air to right field. Going back on the ball, Cody Ross. He's got it, and that's the game. The Marlins win game 1 of the doubleheader behind a great pitching performance from Ricky Nolasco. They beat the Rockies this afternoon in the first game, 4-1.
Rockies baseball on 850 KOA.